Hello and welcome back to Sorare Assist. Today I'm going to be going through the new draft common competitions on Sorare. These are free to play tournaments and you do have a chance of winning some limited NFT cards as well, so do stay tuned. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below where you get a free limited card and the usual common cards as well for signing up. As I say guys, today I'm going to be covering the new competitions on Sorare, which is of course the common draft competitions, also known as the amateur league competitions. So these competitions that we can see here are going to be free to play. You will get the common cards that you need when you do start your journey on Sorare and sign up, so you can start entering these competitions straight away. As you can see, there's 4 competitions that you can enter. There's the Serie Amateur, which is the Italian league, the Spanish La Liga, the French league and the German Bundesliga as well. We'll come on to the draft in a moment, drafting your team, the squad for these competitions. But first of all, let's have a look at some basics in terms of the gameplay in these competitions. So then guys, before we draft our teams, let's have a look at the draft rules then. So managers get to select 8 players within a 400 point cap. So basically you can pick 8 players from each of these competitions. So you can pick 8 players from the German league for the German competition, 8 players from the French league for the French competition, so on, so on. You get the 400 point cap, which is what you have to spend on your players. So a player's last 15 game score average, their L15 score, determines their points value. So say if a player has an average of 40 points scored on the fantasy football game on Sorare in their last 15 games, that's going to take 40 points off your points cap of 400 points. So if a player's L15 is less than 40, their budget points value is set at 40. So if a player has an L15 score less than 40 points on average in the last 15 games, then the points value for that player will be set at a minimum of 40 points. So you won't get any cheaper players in your draft than 40 points basically. There are a maximum of 2 players from the same club. So basically you can only have 2 players there from the same club in your team of 5. Obviously you select 8 players, but you'd need 5 players for your starting lineup. Any recruitment points remaining from the draft or swaps will carry over. So this means that any remaining points that you don't spend in your initial 400 point cap will carry over to the next game week and the following game weeks as well, of course. Another important note as well is that at the beginning of each new season, a manager's 8 cards will reset as they begin a new draft. So basically the players that you pick at the very beginning of your Sorare journey, those are the players that you'll have for the full season in say the French league, the German league or the Italian league and so on. So it's going to follow the usual season path. So when it says season, it means the actual dates that football season is taking place. So for instance, if it was a Premiership, it would be between August and May. Then after that, you would need to select a new draft of players for the new season. A bit like on Fantasy Premier League when you pick a different team every start of the new season with a blank canvas. Now, after you've picked your initial 8 players with your 400 points cap, you will then get the opportunity to swap some cards each game week. So after each game week, managers can swap a maximum of 2 draft common cards for their league specific draft squads. Let's have a look how it works then. So that basically means that you can swap a couple of players who've maybe got a difficult fixture and draft in 2 new players who've got a more favourable fixture for that specific game week. There are a few rules to bear in mind though if you are thinking of doing swaps, which I suppose is similar to transfers on the Fantasy Premier League. When you choose to swap a card, you first select the player in your squad you want to release. In return for releasing your player, you will receive the original budget points you used to first draft that player. So that makes sense. If you spent 40 points on a player in your initial draft, you decide to transfer him out, obviously you'll get 40 points returned to your kitty to spend towards the next player. You can then use the acquired budget points along with your remaining budget points to add a new draft common card to your squad. This new card will not have any extra points, as in XP. So this is another thing to note as well guys on Sorare is XP. So players will get a percentage bonus boost on their score as they gain XP. Using cards in competitions will gain the card XP. So the players that you initially draft, if you're planning on keeping them for a long time, then they're obviously going to gain some XP, potentially be more powerful than some of the other same players in the competition that managers earn. So if you do transfer out a common card, you're obviously going to lose their XP for that specific card, and the card that you bring in will obviously start from the base XP. XP could be quite important in this competition, so when you are doing your initial draft, maybe think of players that you are going to be using for a majority of the season, because that's really going to give them a big boost as the season progresses, as their XP score is going to increase, and that means you're going to get a percentage bonus on the score that they get each game week. So that is something definitely to consider. So in terms of prizes on this free-to-play competition, there's some juicy prizes up for grabs. You can actually win some NFTs, which are digital assets that you can use in other competitions and also sell as well on the open market on Sorare. Now, as you can see from this example for the French League Amateur Common Competition, you can get a number of cards for finishing in specific places. So 51st to 200 is going to get you a tier 3 limited, 6th to 50th is going to get you a tier 2 limited, 4th to 5th is going to get you a tier 1, and 1st is going to get you a star limited. Now, as you can see, there's different tiers of cards there. The star tier is obviously the best card, so this is going to be the best players like Mbappe, Messi. Tier 1 is going to be still a high quality of player, but not the best player in the world, but just below the best players, so still some high caliber players in there. Tier 2s are also going to be decent players as well, and Tier 3s are maybe going to be players that are squad players or don't play every game for the club. So some really juicy prizes up for grabs there, guys. Now if we actually click on this star limited here, we can see what sort of star card you can win. So as I say, there's Kylian Mbappe in there, Lionel Messi, Neymar, Donnarumma, to name just a few. And of course, if you are lucky enough to win one of these cards, you'll be able to then sell them on the open market. We can see here there's a few listed on the open market already. So some really juicy prizes up for grabs there on these free-to-play common draft competition, guys. So let's just have a quick look at how you're going to be drafting your team and how this works then. So as you can see, I'm on the upcoming tournaments page on Sorare. I'm going to go to the Bundesliga amateur competition here and just click on draft. This will take me to the draft page. Now if any of you guys played the Global Cup, you'll be familiar with this sort of layout, because this was a similar layout to what we had on the Global Cup, which was obviously the World Cup matches. Now as you can see, this has brought up a number of players here which I can draft for my team. You can filter it by position, so forwards, midfielders, defenders and goalkeepers. We can also see at the top here we've got our points cap of 400 points that we've already discussed. And it's also giving you an average per position here. So it's saying it's going to be an average of 50 points per player as the average budget sort of to aim for. You will need 2 forwards, 2 midfielders, 2 defenders and 2 goalkeepers. So to pick your initial 8 players, it's just a case of going through, doing a bit of research, scouting, seeing who you think looks good, and then putting that player in your team. You can get a little bit more information on the player if you did wish to do so by clicking on the player. This will give you a bit more information on that player, like their age, club they play for, and also some recent Sorare fantasy points as well that player's previously got in previous fixtures. To select the player though, it's easy enough. You just go ahead and click select. As you can see here, this goalkeeper for Bayer Leverkusen, Harry Decky, costs 49 points of your 400 point cap. So if you go ahead, you can just click select, that will put him in there. Of course we need 2 goalkeepers, so I'm going to also pick Neuer. Forwards, again you've got a number of good forwards here that you can pick from. Just with the same sort of principle though, you just go ahead and select a player, and you need to click 2 forwards, and then you need to click 2 midfielders. So I'm going to go for Brandt here, who's been getting game time recently, and Hoffler as well. Obviously this is not going to be my final team, this is just a rough draft to show you guys how it works. And then I'll go ahead and select my 2 defenders. So I've got 87 left, which is an average of about 43 to spend. So I'll just go ahead and pick 2 players in that squad. So I'm going to pick Tuta and Widmar. So once you're done, you'll get this button appear here, confirm draft. Go ahead and click confirm draft. Then it will take you to the team page where you can select your team from the players you've selected. So I'm going to go and just go ahead and fill in these slots very quickly, just for the purpose of this video. And there we go, that is my team. And you can also pick a captain as well. So go ahead and click Brandt. And as you can see, picking a captain gives you a 50% bonus on their score. So whatever their score they get, you're going to get a 50% boost on that score. So your captain is going to be a really important thing to consider. So then I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. And that is confirming my team. Now, we also know that I've picked a bit of a rubbish team there. It was just a quick draft for this video. But we can redraft that if I want to now. So as you can see, I can click this redraft button. That's going to allow me to basically get rid of all these players and start again. So that is something to bear in mind, guys. Don't worry if you've picked your team and you want to change it. You can redraft your team if you do wish to do so. So another thing to note as well is that you obviously need to get this team picked before the next upcoming deadline. This deadline at the time of recording is 2 days, 1 hour's time. So do make sure you check on the player page upcoming to make sure you do get that deadline and get your team in before the deadline closes. So you do need to submit a team before the deadline. Doesn't matter if you do miss it though, because obviously these competitions are going to be available every single week, so you'll be able to draft your team any week basically. But once you have drafted your 8 players, of course, and submitted your lineup before the next deadline, then going forward the swap mode will kick in, where you get to swap 2 of your players if you want to for 2 other players. So overall, guys, this competition, free to play competition, is looking really promising. I'm certainly looking forward to picking my teams, doing a bit of research on all these leagues, getting a draft put together. So if you've not signed up to Sorare, sign up today, guys. Use the link in the description. You will get a free limited card as well using that link. You'll also, of course, get all your common cards to start playing these leagues today. Okay, guys, if you did like this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out our website as well, sorareassist.com, and I've also got a Patreon for scouting on there, so do check that out too, and an ebook as well, all about Sorare. Links to all this good stuff are in the description below, so do check them out before you leave. Okay, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you again soon.